We're doing it. Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome to today's live training. Look at you, full house already. I was just sitting here going over everything, and I have not gone live since May of 2024. Now, I go live weekly inside my Mom on Purpose membership program, and so I'm very comfortable with that. But this is different. There's a lot more tech included, and so my nerves today are mostly about the tech, not about the content at all, not about connecting with you all, but I'm like making sure, okay, do I have it set to record? All of the things. Okay, I think, see, that's what I mean. I think it's not recording. Let me hit record. Oh, it is recording. Great. So you got to double check. So how this is going to go is I'm just going to jump right into it. I see lots of you on. We'll let more people join, but I don't want to waste anyone's time. I am so appreciative of you being here. So I used to go live monthly and do like a public coaching call. Most of the time it was on motherhood topics like overwhelm, anxiety, things like that. And having three little boys in 3 years really put a pause on that. So I haven't gone live since then. And I just really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. I think because it's been so long for me that I am even more appreciative of this time together. So, with that, I'm just going to dive right in. How it's going to work is I'm going to share my screen with you. There we go. And we're going to dive into everything. Now, while this is happening, I will not have access to the Q&A while the presentation is up, but there will be a Q&A afterwards. So just a quick agenda. We're going to go through my story in terms of weight loss and how it may be helpful for you to understand like where I'm coming from. Then I'm going to share with you the 3 things I did and didn't do strategically to lose 50 pounds after having my third son in relatively short time, like 4 months we're talking. And then if you want to learn more about At Your Goal Weight, it opens today. It's the first time ever that I have an on-demand, instant access, self-paced course. Prior to this, in order to work with me for weight loss, you had to submit an application to do one-to-one coaching. So this is just an exciting time for me. I have bonuses as well for you. And for those of you who are here live, you get a brand new bonus. So stay to the very end because I'm going to give you a URL. That URL is going to give you the exact download right there. There's no like filling out anything with the 3 steps to stop eating at night. This is a brand new product. I am going to be selling it. It is valuable. So it's not just like another PDF guide, but this is something that you can take with you above and beyond everything you're going to learn today that you can start implementing just to help you start losing weight. It is something that I practice. It's something that I pretty much require of all of my one-to-one clients. It makes a really big difference. And so you get that just for being here because it's one thing to watch the replay, and trust me, I get it. I'm a replay girly. I get that. But also to show up, I just want to reward you for that. I know that takes some extra effort. So stay to the end. You will get that URL. And at the same time, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you have questions about anything I say, if you have questions about my weight loss approach, if you have questions about what you've seen me talk about like on social media with weight loss, or if you've taken, weight loss secrets or any of my like smaller programs, you have questions about how it works. Never have I ever gotten more DMs, more comments, more emails about my weight loss approach compared to anything I've ever taught. And that's really why I'm hosting this training. I want to make sure that you get what you came for. And this is a time really unique to anything else that I offer for you to connect with me one-to-one and ask me your questions. Just so you know, I like to say at the start, the way that I run these types of calls is how I like it when I join a call, which is you can't see anyone else. No one else can see you. You can be doing other things, have your AirPods in, whatever. You also, when you submit a question, it's going to go directly to me. Nothing worse than seeing like a chat going off the rails during a presentation when you're trying to learn something. I just don't find that helpful. So when you type in something, it'll go just directly to me. I can't see it while I'm presenting this, but after I go through the content, then when we do the Q&A, I'll be able to read through that. And so anything you type in is just going to go directly to me. No one else can see your name. No one else can hear you. I'm not going to be bringing on people for coaching. And so you can just, sit tight, hang out and listen, watch, do your thing. Maybe you are getting ready for the 4th. Happy 4th of July for those of you who are in the States. I'm excited to start celebrating after this. So, all right, let's dive in. I think it's really important for you to know how crazy I think it is that I am in a position right now to teach and coach weight loss. Okay. Over the last couple of years, I have coached many, many moms to lose weight. And I'm bringing this to you, and I want you to know, like, 20 years ago, right? I'm 40, so 20, 15 years ago, I would have thought that was insane. I was just someone who, after college, carried about, an extra 20, 25 pounds. And I just thought that I was thicker. I thought because of genetics, this is how my body was. I was never someone who identified as naturally thin. I always said that I had a sweet tooth. That was an identity given to me that I took on. And because of that, I didn't really think that it was even possible for me to like be at the weight I would have said, yes, this is my ideal weight. I just didn't even think that it was capable, is something I was capable of. And so I want you to know that. I think sometimes, especially if you're brand new to me and you just, came here from an ad or something, you might be wondering, if I was someone who's always thin and I just gained weight during pregnancy and then lost it very easily. That is not the case at all. So before I ever got pregnant, I had about 25 extra pounds that I was carrying, college, life, all of the things, right? And I got certified professionally as a life coach. And as part of that life coach training, there was a weight loss certification that was included. And so I got certified professionally as a weight loss coach. And it kind of broke my brain with the respect to what was possible with weight loss. And I used the tools to lose weight myself. I lost 25 pounds. And since then, this was close to 10 years now, which is so crazy, I have included inside my membership program a weight loss training. It would be called Permanent Weight Loss. Every couple of years, I would redo that masterclass. So inside the program, there's a new masterclass every month on like a motherhood topic. So I'm giving you context because I want you to know that I have been coaching and teaching on weight loss in the past. It was just never something that I really talked about publicly from a marketing perspective. And so I say that just again to add context so you get to know kind of like my approach, where I'm coming from, and how my approach to weight loss has really evolved and how I've made it my own. And that leads nicely into pregnancy. So pregnancy always has been very difficult for me. I'm someone who just, has a sensitive stomach. I get nauseous very easily, seasick, all of those things. And so pregnancy from the beginning was so challenging for me. I'm talking like multiple medications just to go from non-functional to functional. Like with my first, I actually lost weight, right? Because I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't eat. And so once we understood what was going on, my providers gave me medication that kind of helped. And so I would use my medication and food to survive, to be functional. I had no shame about that because I've done like mindset work around body image. And I just decided like, I need to eat my way through this. Like that's just what it is. For some of you, it's awesome that you can go through pregnancy and not experience that. For me, pregnancy was so, so difficult. And so again, adding context here because I just want you to know it was tough. I saw my body changing. I gained 40 pounds with my first, and then I lost 40 pounds. Now for me, losing that weight, I used the tools I was trained in, and then also some of the tools that I ended up creating in terms of my method. But it wasn't something that again, was at the forefront of my mind to share as something that would even be helpful or resonate. And so again, I got pregnant when my first son was 12 months old. Yes. And, I had already lost the weight, and then I gained 40 pounds with my second son. Now, relative to the three, my second pregnancy was quote unquote my easiest, still was on medication, still gained 40 pounds, and then lost the weight subsequently after. Now, with my third son, I got pregnant right away. They're 15 months apart, so you can do that math, but I had already lost the weight. Whoop, did my screen just freeze for a minute? Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry about that. So I lost the 40 pounds after my second son, and I got pregnant with my third son. Now, my third pregnancy, this is probably why they tell you not to get pregnant so fast. My third pregnancy was just so challenging, my friends. The most challenging for sure out of the three. It just felt hard. I felt bigger. They're showing me the charts where I'm like above all of the recommended weight gain. And I'll tell you what, I really just had to take a shame-free approach to it. I thought like the only way that I can get through this is just eat my way through it. So I gained 50 pounds with my third pregnancy. And quite obviously, I'm adding kind of exponential challenges, i.e., my kids, to my circumstances in terms of my ability, capacity, time to lose weight, right? Losing weight on my own versus losing 50 pounds with three boys under 4 years old is like a totally different experience. And so I really put my brain to work on how can I lose more weight, right? Because it was the heaviest I had ever been. It was the biggest I had ever felt. Like my skin stretched in ways it hadn't felt before with my first or second. Like I felt the least, quote unquote, like myself, right? And so, from a very secure place, I wanted to lose weight, and I did not want this to be a someday goal. I was like, I have to figure out how to do this. I was kind of in circumstances that would have been very, very easy for me to say, let's just wait, right? Little kids at home, no childcare. I'm working, I own my company, and this is, like a successful coaching practice. So it's not like I'm just going to check out. I want to take care of my clients. Like, how can I do this given my very full life? And so I put my brain to work on how to lose more weight by doing less. And then I started talking about it, and it took off like wildfire. And I think it's because my community, you all are probably like high achieving women, and we do so much. We spread ourselves thin, and we are ambitious with our goals. And what happens then is that we can end up taking on too much. And so my approach to weight loss removed all of the noise, and I really took a direct path to losing weight. And so I want to share with you the three things that I think made the biggest difference in my approach, specifically after my third, because that's really when I decided, like, okay, I have to do this different. I have to make sure this works in my very full life right now. And I would just keep asking myself, like, how can I lose more weight by doing less? So let's dive in. The first thing, and this is so important, I did not let life get in the way. I told myself I knew life was always going to be lifing, right? I would just tell myself, I know this can't be a someday goal, because it's just like how the brain works. There's always going to be more things, at least for the way that I operate. Like, I like having a bunch of kids. We have 2 dogs. I have a spouse who works, like a home, community, like sports, activities, all of the things, right? And I keep adding. And so, and until my kids leave the home, there's probably not going to be a quote unquote good time to really lose weight. And so I just didn't believe what my brain wanted to tell me, that it wasn't the right time. But I also knew I wasn't going to be going to the gym. I was not going to be like getting more childcare to work on a fitness goal. I also knew that I was not going to be taking on all of these new recipes and overhauling my eating habits and doing more, right? I was like, baby carrying, breastfeeding, kids working. Like, I just needed a way simpler approach. And so I told myself, I'm not going to wait for more time. I am not going to wait till the kids are older. I'm not going to wait until, right? Instead, what I am going to do is I am just going to commit to this. Now, commitment happens in your brain. So I just decided I'm going to commit. So for those of you who are married, you're committed to your spouse, but you don't spend the most time with him or her during the day, most likely, right? Like, I'm committed to Steve. I'm not like, well, maybe I'll go on the apps today. Of course not. And also, I don't spend the most time with him. So I think sometimes we conflate commitment with time spent. And when you separate those out and you put your brain to work on, okay, how can I commit to this energetically, like in my mind and in my body? Like, I'm taking this seriously. I'm prioritizing it. I'm going to do it consistently. And also, simultaneously, this needs to take a lot less time. So that was kind of the paradox that I was working with, putting my brain to work on how I can do this. And that leads to number 2, which is I did not add in a bunch of health goals. So I think that we are fed a lot of misinformation about weight loss. I think it's well-intended. I don't think it's like malicious, but it's really important for you to understand what's actually happening, because I think the weight loss industry just sells us health optimization. So it's like work on your gut health to lose weight, work on your hormones to lose weight, work on your sleep to lose weight, work on your fitness to lose weight, definitely work on your nutrition to lose weight. Okay. And so the reason that this is the case is because all of these companies and experts, everyone knows that one of the main goals that we have as human beings is to lose weight. And so everyone takes their sort of health approach and funnels it through weight loss. And when you know this, like now that you know this, you will see it everywhere. Now, nothing wrong with those goals, but they add something in. So if I'm going to optimize for nutrition, then I'm going to need new recipes. I'm going to need to learn about nutrition. I'm probably going to need to count macros. Like I have to do more to work on a nutrition goal. And then also I need to lose weight. And so I have to go into a calorie deficit. If I add in fitness on top of that to help me with my weight loss goal, I might get stronger, but guess what? It's going to make weight loss even harder because now I have to go into a calorie deficit and I'm hungrier for working out. Same thing with hormones and gut health and sleep. Like all of these goals I think are worthwhile, but when you start to see them as separate and not necessary for weight loss, it really does simplify weight loss. And that's the approach that I took. It was really an essentialist approach. I focused on one goal, one specific goal, which was weight loss. I did not focus on nutrition. I did not focus on fitness, not because I don't care about those things. I just have always, and my Mom on Purpose membership girlies know this. You may have heard me talk about it on the podcast where, I'm very passionate about one goal at a time because as a high achiever, I want to do all of the things. And I definitely want to talk about how I'm doing all of the things. I'm working on my nutrition. I'm working on my fitness. I'm working on, my sleep and my hormones and all of the things, right? However, that is too much for my very full life. And so what goes first is always going to be my goals. And so I knew and have known that doesn't work long term. But what really works long term, instead of doing 10 goals at once, is doing one goal at a time. And I take this approach for all of my goals. I took this approach for weight loss. And so I did not focus on optimizing for nutrition. Again, amazing goal, but something that I would have wanted to add after I achieved my weight loss goal, right? Because, and those of you who have tried to optimize for nutrition, you know this. It works, but you have to not only change what you're eating, right? But also go into a deficit. So you can actually feel like you're getting momentum because you're eating more nutrient dense and nutritious foods and then not see the scale budge at all. And you're like, what in the world? I'm eating healthier. And the truth is you are, but you're working on a different goal. You're working on nutrition. Again, worthwhile goal, but it's not necessary for weight loss. Okay. And so this approach I like to think of as like I'm sure all of you have heard of how GLP-1s work, right? They kind of block hormones, but you end up eating less food. It's kind of like that, but without the hormone part, right? It doesn't, obviously it's not a drug. It doesn't do anything in terms of hormones, but you end up eating less food. And the reason that it works so well is because it works given whatever you are eating. I like to share that with my first and second pregnancies, I wasn't eating meat at the time. I didn't eat meat for a handful of years, but with my third, I was, and I love meat now and I eat a lot of meat and I lost weight in both of those kind of lifestyle and food choices. And so it will work because you already eat in a certain way. And then if you want to go on a nutrition goal path, do that. Same thing with fitness, right? And so getting a little ahead of myself, but I think just as high achievers, we want to do all of the things and we see our future selves. I love future self work, by the way. It's like we see our future selves as fitter and leaner and at our goal weight and sleeping better and, all of these things, which yes, you can have it all. You can do it all, but do it one at a time. It works so much better given your very full life. So for me, I did not exercise to lose weight. I did not optimize for nutrition, meaning I just didn't change it. Like I just took what I was already doing and focused on a few core tools that helped me go into a calorie deficit. I did not search for like the best foods. I did not follow meal plans or new recipes. Instead, I simply focused on one goal. I took an essentialist approach, and that was going into a calorie deficit. So begs the question, how in the world do you go into a calorie deficit without, which is number 3, counting calories? Oh, my screen just froze again. Goodness, there's Zoom. Okay. I did not count calories. I did not count macros. I just added that in there a couple minutes ago because I just want you to know there was no counting. There was no documenting. It was not work in terms of efforting and doing more. Again, I had to figure out how to lose more weight by doing less because I knew I wasn't going to change my circumstances with life and work and kids and all of the things, but I really wanted to prioritize this. And so I did not count calories. So a calorie deficit is the most direct path to weight loss. Do the other health approaches work for weight loss? Absolutely. I like to say that everything works, but does it work for you in your already full life? For me, I just was not going to spend hours in the gym. I was not going to hire childcare. I was not going to kind of change anything happening in my life. Like my priorities at that time were family number one, and then my work, my business, my clients number two. And so how do I add weight loss in there? I had to, again, figure out how to do more with less. And so I wanted the most direct path to weight loss, which is just going into a simple calorie deficit. And then I decided, okay, once I achieve that weight loss goal, if I want to add in anything else like fitness or nutrition, I can do that. So out of this whole process was born my method for lose more with less, lose more weight doing less. And the way that you do that is you just go into a calorie deficit using a few handful-ish, maybe a little bit more, core tools that work together to help you go into that calorie deficit every single day and anchoring to the scale so that you know, am I going into enough of a deficit and am I going into too much of a deficit? This is, it's funny. This is a question that comes up kind of with students who are considering at your goal weight. I've been asked questions like, how do I know if I am going into too much of a deficit? Well, you are used to either maintaining or gaining weight. And so to this day, I have not had a client go into too much of a deficit where she's losing like too many pounds per week. On average, my clients, of course, they're doing the work. It's like 1 to 2 pounds a week. But you would know that because you would get on the scale every day. And I teach you how to anchor to the scale. So you make food decisions, you make common sense tweaks. That's what I call it. And you go into a simple calorie deficit by doing mild doable hunger. Now, none of this is going to be like revolutionary for you, but it's also not going to be intuitive. Meaning it's not just going to happen, right? But when you do all of these together, you learn how to do this approach. It's actually very straightforward. Some of the feedback that I get from clients is, wow, I just didn't realize that I was way overcomplicating weight loss. And so for me, with lose more with less and losing 50 pounds, I just went into that calorie deficit. I wasn't counting anything. I was not adding in more. I was not exercising. I stopped eating late at night. I made some common sense tweaks. So, you know, I always give the example, like I'm not eating Chipotle and Jimmy John's, two of my favorite fast casual places of choice, all day. I'm not eating cake all day, right? I'm taking what I typically eat and I am going into a calorie deficit, anchoring to the scale, doing mild doable hunger and making some common sense tweaks, not eating at night as well. And the more that you do this, you get your reps in, and I teach you how to do this inside at your goal weight, the more of a skill it becomes. I think it's very doable, very learnable, but again, not intuitive. And I think the reason that this works, again, it's my community here. You're part of that. It's because we are high achievers. We spread ourselves thin. And so we way overcomplicate weight loss. I get this feedback repeatedly. One of my favorites was from a client who lost 60 pounds in 6 months. She just had her second. And she said, I just did not realize that I was way overcomplicating weight loss. And I do think this is because we are used to the problems that we are struggling with being really difficult. And when you learn this approach, it actually requires less time. And it's not uncommon for my private one-to-one clients to say, like, I'm looking, like, I feel this urge to be doing more. And it's because you've probably spent a lot of time trying to do more, trying to optimize for nutrition, trying to count calories or macros, trying to get your steps in or your fitness in. Again, worthwhile goals, just ancillary to weight loss. Now, if you already work out, if you already fill in the blank, totally fine. I'm talking about adding those in for weight loss. It's just not what I did. It's also not necessary. And so I packaged the lose more with less method into 2 different containers. My private one-to-one coaching container, which is what I've been using to kind of fine-tune this approach to get amazing client results over the last couple of years. It has become so fun for me, my friends. I swear to you, I started off talking about this, but like I never in a million years thought this would be the path of my business. And now it has become almost over half of my business. And I think it's because unlike any other area that I've ever coached on, the results that I'm getting my clients are are so phenomenal. And I think with weight loss, right? It's so easy. You get on the scale, you know if you lost the 50 pounds or not, right? It's like, is the number 50 less than what you started with? And so it's very clear. It's been very fun for me, very rewarding to see so many moms thrive with this. And so I took everything that I have been kind of doing myself, doing with my clients, and I packaged it into what I would have wanted a self-paced, on demand, instant access course. No coaching calls required, like nothing dripped out. You join today, you start losing weight tomorrow. Like it is that straightforward. And I'm just so excited to bring it to you here. So at your goal weight is where I teach the lose more with less method in modules, in trainings, and you will learn how to go into a calorie deficit without counting calories. You will learn how to anchor to the scale. You will learn how to make common sense tweaks. You will learn about and how to stop emotionally eating. You will also learn the real life application. So most of the questions that I get are, hey, I actually love this approach, and will this work for me? I'm breastfeeding. I'm, in menopause. I'm fill in the blank. Will it work for me? And so I have answers to those questions. If you have a specific question, feel free to ask me here as well, or you can always email us at theteam@momonpurpose.com. I teach you how to overcome plateaus and upticks. So I think one of the common misconceptions with weight loss is thinking that it's supposed to be this like roller coaster of ups and downs. It really should not. Like, yes, you will get a few plateaus in there and then they will break, right? You'll learn how to break them, but you should not be having upticks like that. And I think it's just misinformation out there. I think it's interesting, right? Like I think in some ways we're not as tough on ourselves in an inspiring, helpful, motivated way. Instead, what my clients, and I can definitely relate to this, is we're tough on ourselves in like a harsh, self-critical, shameful way. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like precision and excellence and like, let's just get this weight loss goal done and let's make it permanent. And so, of course, I included a maintenance module as well. There goes Zoom freezing me again. Sometimes this happens, but hold on, there we go. You're going to learn how to take the life that you already have and live in it while losing weight. Okay. And so you're not going to be wondering, like a lot of the confusion I think with weight loss comes around fitness and healthy eating, right? Nutrition. And when you kind of quiet that and say, okay, I'm tabling that for right now. I'm just going to keep exercising the way that I do, but I'm not going to optimize for weight loss. Same thing with nutrition. You're like, okay, this is not the goal right now. Then it quiets that noise. And so instead you just take how you already eat and you do the simple tools that I teach you to go into a calorie deficit, and it works extraordinarily well. And so you have this newfound confidence, like, wow, this really works. The feedback unsolicited that I get from my one-to-one clients repeatedly is, wow, this is happening faster than I thought it would. And I think it's because we're so used to losing and gaining like the same 10 pounds that we think it's supposed to like go up and down and up and down. It really shouldn't, my friends. It's like, kind of unbelievable. And so if you can't buy into that, that's okay. But I want you to know that it really does go down, and then you will have some plateaus, but you'll break them and you'll go down and break them and go down. Like any sign of an uptick, which is totally fine, but you will be able to like nip it in the bud the very next day because you're going to be doing daily weigh-ins, and I teach you about how to do that. So very quickly, I want to go through some of the most commonly asked questions. I'm just going to run through them. So, yes, it works with breastfeeding. I teach you how to lose weight safely by basically you just anchor to the scale for your baby as well. Yes, I was breastfeeding. I have client testimonials who are breastfeeding as well. No, it is not made specifically for new moms. That's just one part of one training. Many of my clients are perimenopause or menopause. Does it work for that and hormones? Yes. The only thing I would say it's not going to work for is if you're not clear to lose weight. If there's like a reason, a health reason or a medication you're on where the provider says, hey, you should not be losing weight, then no. But otherwise, yes, this will work for it. Is it okay to continue doing what you're doing for exercise? Absolutely. Is there coaching included in this? Like, are we going to have weekly calls that you have to attend to be able to get the content or anything like that? Nope. It is all instant access on demand. People ask, like, how do I know I'll be getting my macros in? And it's so interesting, right? That question is the wrong question. And the easiest way that I can explain it is how we've all seen GLP-1s blow up, where I've never been on one and I have nothing against them, right? I just think it's like a useful analogy. Now, again, to be clear, there's nothing about my approach that changes your hormones or blocks your hormones or anything like that. But in terms of how you eat, it will be similar. You will take what you're eating now and you will learn how to eat less of it so that you can go into a calorie deficit while still anchoring to the scale. It does not optimize for nutrition in the same way like a GLP-1 wouldn't either. And so kind of thinking about it in that way, because I get a lot of questions like, how is it even possible for you to anchor to the scale and go into a calorie deficit? And I teach you how to do mild doable hunger in a way that works as long as you're like cleared to lose weight. And this is possible for you right now, which if you're here, presumably it is. You have lifetime access. I like to know how things are delivered. It is in a very beautifully aesthetic designed portal. It's all brand new content. It's easy access. You just log in and you get instant access to everything. There is also a payment plan available. I think this works extraordinarily well for the high achieving kind of millennial moms who want to lose weight. And it's like, how, given my everyday life is like so full. That is who I made this for because I am her. And I have had just so much fun seeing client results and just helping clients with this. So I think it works really well because of how much of an essentialist approach it is. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. You don't have to overhaul your eating habits. You don't have to work on your hormones or your gut health or your sleep or your nutrition. You just have to go into a calorie deficit to lose weight. So after you apply these tools and you go through the method, you will lose weight if you do the work. It's so simple. It's like our brains want to complicate it, but I really, really, really have made it simple. So now let's dive into the investment. There is an application for one-to-one coaching, and the investment is expensive. It's one-to-one. I do the work for you every single day, Monday through Friday. You put in your weight and I will give you the tweaks to make. And so you don't have to do any content. And this, again, works extraordinarily well if you want to just save time and you want me to do it for you. It's done for you. That investment is starting at $6,000 and goes up to $12,000 depending on the plan. It's a 6-month container. Now, for those of you who are interested in at your goal weight, it is a much more affordable investment. It's only $19.97. This is beta pricing. It will go up by $500 to $24.97. On the 9th, it is. You have to check the page. Yeah, I think at the end of this launch. So I wanted to give you a big incentive to get in today. There is a payment plan available as well. And on top of that, I have bonuses. 2 amazing bonuses. I don't know if I will ever offer these again. Obviously, there's a capacity for this, but I thought it'd be really fun and just like incredible for you to have this opportunity to work with me directly. So you get bonus number 1, which is done for you coaching for 4 weeks, my friend. You do not pay for this at all. It comes included. And what this looks like is you download this app. I'll give you the information, and all you do is you report your weight daily in there Monday through Friday, and I give you the tweaks to make. This is exactly how I work with my one-to-one clients, and you get this completely free as a bonus, kind of just to add fuel to your weight loss goal, to kickstart it as you're going through the content. I thought, how can I make this like a no-brainer? This bonus is a fast action bonus, so you have to sign up by Sunday end of day in order to get this. Okay. Second bonus, I took, and no one even has this yet, my friends, this is gold. I took the steps that I give brand new one-to-one clients. I give them a bunch of steps when they sign up to get started with. Very simple, but they have to get started with these steps to do. And I took those steps and I put it into a fast track implementation framework. It is, it's so valuable. It's a PDF guide. It is downloadable. You will have it forever. It is how you will start losing weight today, again, without going through any of the content. I have that yours for you as long as you sign up by the end of this launch. Again, end of day, I think on the 8th. Yes, there it is. End of day on the 8th. These bonuses, I kind of put my heart and soul into because this program is so important to me. I think it's going to just change the way that women approach weight loss. I've seen it happen already with my private clients and the clients who I've had the privilege of coaching. And I wanted there to be a way for me to get this to many, many more people in a much more affordable way, and in a way that like I would want to do. So I signed up for tons of coaching and programs, and it's really hard right now for me to attend calls. So I do one call a week with my Mom on Purpose membership, and that's it. Like if I sign up for a program and it has calls, I'm like, I know I'm not going. And so I included everything on demand, instant access. Don't have to wait for it to be dripped out. This is my favorite way to consume. So I really created something that I wish I would have had inside. So all of the information that I just gave you is over at momonpurpose.com/goal, GOAL. That is where you can sign up. Sign up by Sunday to get bonus number 1. Sign up by the 8th in order to get bonus number 2. So now we did it. We made it through. I don't think I botched the tech too much. And let's do a Q&A. That is my favorite. This is fun. Okay, what questions do you have? Do you go walking? Yeah, so I don't, this is a question I get a lot. Like, do you go walking? First of all, I have a podcast coming out about this actually, but it's neither here nor there. Like, I think we have gone too far on the side of over prioritizing like fitness classes, right? We're always like, what class are you in? What workouts are you doing? I rarely am sitting. I'm walking all day. I'm with my kids. I'm moving. Do whatever movement you are already doing. I have a brand new client who just joined yesterday. She's like, I do fitness training like 4 days a week. Is that going to be a problem? I'm like, absolutely not. The problem is when you are doing any sort of movement or exercise for the exact purpose, for the direct purpose of weight loss. Go on a daily walk, of course, for your mental, emotional, and physical health, to boost your mood, to process emotions, to, chase your kids around like I am, to get stronger, right? Exercise is amazing. The problem that I see like my high achieving mom clients doing is thinking, oh my gosh, I need to get my workout in to lose weight. It's like, no, that is the opposite of what I want to send the message of. Yes. So you will learn how to anchor to the scale inside at your goal weight. Yeah, if you want one-on-one support, Katie, you can absolutely apply for coaching, right? The benefit of doing an on-demand instant access program is that it's way more affordable. Right. And that's really why I created it. And so if you're looking for more one-to-one support, absolutely you can apply. That's momonpurpose.com/ready. And, I just ask you a few questions. It's a short application, but one of the benefits of working with me directly is I pretty much do the work for you. A lot of my clients work with me 6 months to a year because maintenance is its own skill, but I really put everything inside of at your goal weight. If you're here, you are a doer, you are a self-starter, you just need to learn, okay, how do I actually go into a calorie deficit without counting calories, right? That's one of the most common questions, especially if you're new to me. You're like, wait a minute, I've never heard of this. Obviously, we've all heard of GLP-1s and we understand how that works, but without counting calories, without counting macros, we haven't even been exposed to this. And I really think that's why my approach has taken off. And like to bundle with you, like done for you support for the first 4 weeks is like unheard of. And I just wanted to reward you, right? For getting in early. You also save $500. I did mention it, right? The price goes up on the 9th by 500. So this is like beta pricing. Oh, I love that. Someone just joined. So fun. And again, no waiting, no dripping out, instant access. With anchoring to the scale, how do you account for times when you are at different points in your cycle? I don't know if that question means like, do you plan on gaining weight during your cycle? You don't have to. I know, limiting beliefs we have. Now, you can be gentler with yourself. You can tell yourself, which is what I did at first, was like, okay, I'm just going to coast at this number for the week. But just think of it. Like that isn't even a question that we ask when we're on a GLP-1, right? Again, I'm not suggesting, first of all, I've never taken a GLP-1 or anything, but I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just saying like some of the questions that I get asked, we don't even fathom asking for GLP-1s. And so I want to challenge you to break your brain a little bit about what's possible for you. And so for me, when I was first learning how to lose weight, I just planned on a plateau and feeling a little bit more bloated. But when you also learn how to stop emotional eating, which is a skill that is life-changing, it's inside at your goal weight, you learn how to be with the discomfort of your hormones. And you're like, wait, what? I could just sit at the same number? Because it used to be that I would be 2 pounds up after my period. Not the case anymore. I now can lose weight when I'm on my period. I did not think that was possible. Now, you don't have to say I'm going to keep going into a deficit. You could just hang out and plateau for the week. It becomes like drama free. It's wild. It is really wild. And I kind of like to think of it as like a high achieving mom's dream because you're running around, you're cooking, you're working, you're taking your kids here and there. Like you are managing the mental load and you want to lose weight. And so for me and for most of my clients, it's like we care so much about the roles that we have, like our work role, our mom role, our wife role, our homemaker role. It's like all of these roles. When you add in, now I want to set and achieve this goal, the first thing to go when there is like a life event, life keeps on happening and getting in the way, the first thing to go is always weight loss, right? It's like, okay, well, I don't have time for that right now. Okay, I'll have to pause that. Okay, until just after the vacation or whatever. And I teach you exactly how not to do that. Because life will keep lifing. Like I teach you how to lose weight during holidays and during vacations. And I was just talking with one of my clients this morning about going into the holiday weekend. And our goal for her for this weekend is simply just to maintain through the weekend. Right. And then we'll do another drop throughout the week next week for her. And when you think of it like that, it just becomes math. Like there's no drama because you're doing the most direct path to weight loss. And then I always say, like for myself, I'm like, okay, fitness journey is next, right? And I think it's important for me to just say like there's nothing wrong with any of the other health goals. The problem is when our high achieving mom brain wants to combine them into one. And so now it's like, okay, I'm working on my gut health, my sleep, my hormones, my nutrition and my fitness. And then we start asking our questions like, how many steps do I need to get in today? Or how, many macros should I have? Or like we are working on our nutrition and our fitness. And then we end up gaining and losing the same 10 pounds and we have no idea why. And it's because it's not the most direct path to weight loss, which is a calorie deficit. Again, it's a very essentialist approach that I think is life-changing for really like high achieving moms who just want to like lose weight, cut through the noise and have it be permanent. Many of you, probably most of you, have lost weight before. And the reason that you're here is because you're not at your goal weight yet. And so what happened? Life happened, circumstances changed. Maybe you just didn't like that method or it was too difficult to integrate into your everyday life. And so a huge philosophy and what's really, really important to me is to make sure this is permanent. And I think there are 7 individual modules or over 40 trainings, but one entire module is about the skill of maintenance. One of, if not, but one of top 3 biggest mistakes that I see high achieving moms make with weight loss is thinking it's just one goal. It's the weight loss goal. Okay. That is part 1. That is goal 1. Yes, you need to learn how to create the result of weight loss. But after that, after you've learned how to create it, you need to learn how to have it, how to have the result that you created. Okay. And this is why it's so important to understand and to learn those skills. And it's just a skill. It's a skill gap if you're not there yet, which is the best news ever because I still anchor to the scale every day. I still, if I, go up or down a pound or 2, I anchor to that number. Okay. But you have to use the tools together. And that's why I created the Lose More with Less method so that this can be permanent, right? We do things every single day to take care of our health, right? We shower, we wash our hair, we buy new clothes, we do go on walks, we do exercise, we brush our teeth multiple times a day. And I weigh myself every day as part of a way to take care of my weight. Now, is weight the most important thing? No, it's just one thing that is important. Nutrition is important. Fitness is important. Your gut health is important. Your mental and emotional health are important. That's why I teach those tools inside the Mom on Purpose membership, right? This is about weight loss, simple and doable. And more importantly than that, it is permanent. Okay. So what other questions do you have? Do you have any? Yes. momonpurpose.com/goal. Oh, another person just in. Okay. I am going to reach out to you. Actually, my assistant might reach out to you first to get you set up on the app, but then I will reach out to you. I always say within 1 business day, and we just get started for the 4 weeks of done for you coaching that's included in here. Again, I think it's just like insane bonuses. I wanted to really make it a no-brainer for you. So you get the done for you 4 weeks of coaching with me. You get the Success Fast Track Implementation Guide, and you get a beta first in pricing, and the price will go up $500 on the 9th. Okay. Any other questions? Don't you get off this call, my friends. I have that link. Let me just get it. Okay. If there are no other questions, we will wrap up and I will give you the link. Okay. Last chance. All right. So good to see all of you. Okay. momonpurpose.com/night 7.3. Okay. I'm going to wait and make sure you all get it. momonpurpose.com/night, NIGHT, the number 7 dot, like a period, dot 3, the date. Okay. The date is 7/3. So night 7.3. I checked it multiple times. I know that it works. So get that. It is going to teach you 3 steps to stop eating at night. This is something that's going to be included in a 3-part video series that I am creating, and I will be selling it. And so this isn't just like, okay, you came and you get this little freebie download. This is something that I think is really, really helpful for weight loss. It's something that I include inside At Your Goal Weight in terms of the strategy and the method. And I think that it will be, yes, can I say it again? Yep. I think it'll be really, really helpful for you to just get started. Yes, momonpurpose.com. Yes, someone asked. Mom on Purpose. No, you forgot the .com, Katie. momonpurpose.com. Okay, just like my website, momonpurpose.com/night, like not morning, but night, NIGHT, 7.3. Just don't forget the .com there. momonpurpose.com/night 7.3. And yes, no, that's just the link to your bonus to get for being here live. I wanted to reward you, right? Who doesn't love a free live bonus for taking the time? Like, I know what that's like. Okay. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate, your attention, and I'm excited to help so many of you lose weight. Again, I never in a million years thought this would be the direction of my business, but I just listened to you. I started sharing my story. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know that I've talked about how I would have taken a lot more before and after photos had I known this would resonate so much. But I think that's okay. And I think that, you really thinking about how you want to lose the weight matters. And I think that, yeah, happy 4th. Thanks, my friend. Just a few tech issues, right? Happy 4th to all of you. But I think that for those of you who want to lose weight without doing more, I would strongly encourage you to use this approach, right? I don't just give you more information. That was one of the reasons why I created At Your Goal Weight, because it's very easy. You'll see this in other programs, especially just with newer experts or content creators, right? Like they learn stuff and so they just want to dump it on you, right? It's easy for them. It's the easiest way, right? I did not do that. I've been, coaching and having an online business for over 10 years. And so I really took everything that I know. I took everything that I did. I took my client experiences, and I created a specific method. It took way more work on my end, but that's what you want. You don't want all the information. You want to know, what can I do to lose weight very, very simply. Yes, momonpurpose.com thank you. momonpurpose.com/goal, GOAL. That is the registration link to get your live bonus. momonpurpose.com/night, NIGHT 7.3. Yes. Also, but interested in a teaser about how to handle emotional eating and holiday eating. Yeah. So, okay, so the question is how to handle emotional eating and holiday eating. The shortest answer is the most direct answer, and your brain's going to want to overcomplicate this, but I promise you it's not complicated. So emotional eating is when we eat instead of feeling our emotions. So we're not hungry. Our body doesn't need food for fuel. We're feeling stressed. We're feeling overwhelmed. We're feeling frustrated. So we go and we eat. So you have to learn how to break that pattern and just be with your emotions. Okay. Just feel your feelings. So you decide ahead of time, this is when I'm going to eat. And when I am not eating, then I'm going to feel frustrated. I'm going to feel overwhelmed. I'm going to feel, tense. Okay. That's emotional eating. Different, very different than holiday eating. Holiday eating and I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's a real life application module. Like, and I'm going to add to it as more questions come in and more clients kind of have different circumstances. But it's bulky. There's holidays. There's travel. I have a specific method for traveling and how to anchor when you travel. There's hormones, there's menopause versus breastfeeding. There's like all of these different, we would call them like real life circumstances where it's almost like we want this result, but we see what's happening in our life as preventing it, as being the obstacle. And so this question from Maureen is like, well, how can I lose weight during the holidays, right? So she wants to lose weight just like you do, just like I did. And she's seeing holidays as an obstacle. So we all have those obstacles. And I included tons of obstacles inside At Your Goal Weight for how to overcome them. And so holiday eating, it takes a little bit of, I would say, like mental effort ahead of time, but it doesn't take you doing more. Right? There's nothing you have to do. You don't have to plan your food. You can if you want. I teach you how to plan food if you want to. But you just have to be with yourself and learn how to connect. And I teach you how to connect and make the holiday about people and about celebrating and about feeling those feelings. And food's just there. I also teach you one of my core philosophies, which is how to decrease pleasure from food. So I didn't talk about this today, but it's kind of related to holidays, right? And celebrations. And so we collectively are so blessed to have an abundance of access, and you all know this, to food. Like, I don't even have to leave. I could have Starbucks delivered. I certainly could get in my car and drive through a bajillion places just around me. Definitely could go to also multiple grocery stores right around me. Like, the abundance of food is crazy. And that is amazing. Like, these are good problems to have. But with that, there are problems. And so learning how to take food and make it a 4 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 when you're thinking about a celebration will change your life. Like, that training is worth the entire program because you will have that forever. And that's something that I'm really passionate about it. And that's why I don't do like off days. I talk about that. We don't do like off days or cheat days. Like, even though it's strategy and method, one of the most unsolicited pieces of feedback that I get from my one-to-one clients is, wow, I'm like a different person. My mindset is completely different. But, and for those of you who followed me for a long time, you know how much I care about like mindset and doing the inner work. My weight loss approach is very different. The mindset, and there is a mindset module in there. I do think it's helpful, but it's supplemental and it's ancillary, meaning it's not the direct path. You could do mindset work and journaling all day and still eat too much food and not lose weight. And so it's fun for me to see that at the end, when you reach your goal weight, you will have found that your mindset and who you have become is so different, even though that wasn't the core thing that you focused on. Yes, the link works. Thank you, Natalie. You are welcome. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I know for those of you who have followed for a long time, like this was just not the thing that I was focused on. And the quick story behind that is I wanted to start doing paid advertising. Many of you are here from an ad that you just saw. Like, you could have found that ad yesterday. You know nothing about me. Well, the reason that I even started teaching my weight loss approach publicly, kind of marketing with it, is because I wanted to share more of my story with people who had never heard of me, who wanted like some sort of change in their life that would resonate with my story. And I was like, well, I most recently lost 50 pounds in 4 months after having my third son, Jack. So I was like, why don't I talk about that? And then it kind of took off. And then I learned like, wow, this is really resonating. And I think more important than that, I love it. Okay. Because it's so fun for me to be able to offer to you a brand new way of approaching weight loss and then have you get the result. Like, my clients get incredible results. Like, I am so proud of that. Now, yes, they're doing the work. Has there ever been someone who didn't do the work, who kind of just fell off? Yeah, because they decided, I don't want to lose weight right now, which is valid. I actually include a training inside the program that is on that, like when to decide, let's take a real break. So for example, you just have something happen in your life where it's like, let's pause weight loss right now. I think that's so much better than like, let's kind of do it, let's not do it, let's dabble, let's half do it, because that really negatively impacts your confidence. Or let's say you get unexpectedly pregnant, right? It's like the same thing there. Let's pause weight loss. Let's eat our way through pregnancy if you're like me, anyways, and let's come back to it, which is exactly why I made at your goal weight lifetime access. It was really important to me. Um, oh, wondering how much we have to change meals. This is actually a really good question. And so I call it common sense tweaks. You will at first, you probably won't have to change what you're eating much at all. Um, with the caveat, like if you're eating cake all day, like you can't just I mean, you could just have a few bites of cake, I guess, right? But most of the time, that's not my clients. Like you're not going to have to change largely what you're eating until I always think let's like the last 5 to 10 pounds, you'll have to do more common sense tweaks because your body is settling into the weight that you've lost. But by that time, even if your goal is just like 15, 20, 25 pounds, the last 5 pounds, you already learned the skill of how to lose weight. And so you'll make some common sense tweaks. Maybe let me just give you some examples of what I mean by that. Like, right? I am not a nutritionist, nor do I pretend to be one. And like, what common sense tweaks are, right? When you're eating, candy, Snickers. I love Snickers. Okay. I love coffee ice cream. When I'm eating sugary foods a lot, that would be a common sense tweak if I'm going into a deficit. It's just not helpful. So I would just look at what I'm doing from the day before, if I didn't get into that deficit and say, okay, what can I tweak today? Maybe it's like dips and creamers or something like that. For me, I mentioned Jimmy John's and Chipotle. Like you can hack your way, right? We all see the nutritionists, like they're hacking stuff so you can order this way, right? But to me, the problem with that is like you're still increasing your pleasure association with that food. And so it makes it harder to maintain. Okay. And so for me, what I just did was like, okay, if I noticed a plateau or a slight uptick, even a little bit, I made a common sense tweak. So I just reduced like Jimmy John's and Chipotle. I reduced burgers, but I would eat steak. Like it's not a lot, assuming you're not eating cake all day, right? So for a majority of my clients, I would say like 90%, maybe 95% of my clients, they're not needing to make a lot of tweaks to their food at all. And this is why it works. Right. Again, I love the parallel analogy, simply an analogy with GLP-1s, right? Because it's not about nutrition. And so someone asked me, like, how do I know I'm getting enough macros? I'm like, you don't, right? Like, that's not what weight loss is. If you want to, that question is a nutrition-based question. I am all for optimizing your nutrition. Please do that. But if you try to do that, some of you have tried to do that with weight loss, it is way harder. Again, because what can happen is you go from eating what you're used to eating, I don't know, burgers, fries, sandwiches, maybe like more carb heavy, and then you change your eating habits. And so you start eating more nutrient dense foods. Awesome for a nutrition goal. The problem is it can feel so different. And again, food manufacturers do such a great job at increasing the pleasure in food, right? Like the deliciousness, right? So it's not an apple we're craving, it's apple pie. And you're so used to that when you start eating more nutrient dense foods, you can end up overeating it because you're like almost in withdrawal a little bit of that pleasure hit. And how this presents symptom wise is you will get on the scale and it will be flat or up. You'll be very confused. And the simplest way to understand it is, oh yeah, I'm working on my nutrition. That is separate and apart from working on weight loss. You absolutely go on a nutrition goal, have one. Like I love that. Gut health, blood sugar, sleep, hormones, do it all. But I highly recommend an essentialist approach to goal setting because you'll be able to set and achieve so many more goals in your life. That's how I approach goal setting. It works extraordinarily well. And I think, again, this is like a breath of fresh air for so many of my like high achieving mom clients who are like, how can I do this given my already full life? So my friends, momonpurpose.com/goal. Thank you for being here. I would love to see you inside. Take care.